President Trump at the United Nations today, where his America First agenda is creating stark differences with world leaders. He's already butted heads on climate change, North Korea, and Iran. It all comes before the president's big speech tomorrow before the General Assembly. That's happening around 10:15 tomorrow. I will be on with Martha and Katie McFarland, actually, to talk about that. And I know you cannot wait for that. Do you enjoy seeing the president up there with all the world leaders?
I love it. Much better than watching Barack Obama up there at the same time. It comes down to this. We have our boys, right? We have the British, we have the Australians, we have the Israelis, we have the Canadians. To a certain extent,
don't forget Micronesia.
We have the French.
Micronesia.
Of course, we have Micronesia.
My soul country.
Don't understand why exactly we have Micronesia, but we have our people. So it's more about quality, not quantity, when it comes to that. So it's always been an anti-Semitic institution, and they're always sitting there with their hand out, right? And we give them billions of dollars, and then once we cut the check, we have no idea where the money is going. And they always vote against us. But you want to know why? They're voting their own interest. Ho, ho, ho. People voting their own interest. That's very important because I don't want the President of the United States popular at the UN. If he's popular at the UN, he's not putting America first. And that's what this is about. The UN and all these individual countries, they try to constrain America. Our energy, our military, anytime we're trying to root out corruption or call them out for their, immoral conduct, that's fine. But the point is, they have a history of raping, of pillaging, of squandering money, and blocking democratic progress throughout the world. So I don't like being lectured by them, and I'm sure the president doesn't like being lectured by them either. And do you think the Chinese care what the UN thinks? The Russians care? No one cares. We use them when we need them, and then when we don't need them, we do what we want.
The UN, I don't know if you agree with this, but I was thinking about it before the show. The UN, you hear a lot more about them. And really, you kind of haven't in the last couple of years. It's almost as if they're off on their own, doing something nobody knows about.
No, well, obviously, the United States has had major differences, especially in terms of the Security Council and the kind of votes that have taken place. Stark difference between U.S. policy. I don't know that they're anti-Semitic, as my friend said. I think that they.
I think there's a record of anti-Semitism.
No, well, I think Arabs are Semites, but I think that they're
anti-Israeli.
Okay, so we have a different issue. But I'm saying to you that I think. It's quite clear, especially with Trump in the White House, the UN doesn't set U.S. foreign policy. The better argument that I would make, sort of contrary to what we just heard from Jesse, is that this president has alienated so many of our historical allies, especially our Western allies. And then, of course, you come down to his foreign policy and you think, didn't we just send troops to Saudi Arabia? We pull out of the Iran deal. It seems to destabilize the region, had repercussions he didn't anticipate. You look at what's going on in North Korea. They're testing more missiles. You stop and you think about the Afghan pullout. Well, what happened to that? I think we're still in Afghanistan. Syria's on fire. That's our foreign policy. That's not the United Nations.
Okay, but, okay.
That's called the laundry list way of arguing. Each one alone doesn't mean anything, but you put them all together and they mean zero.
It means our foreign policy under President Trump.
North Korea, you could tackle each one of those and take them apart. North Korea, the missiles they're testing are small missiles.
Oh, yeah. We have peace with North Korea.
You know what this is? The analogy I would use is that the UN is like the college undergrads, and they expect the dean, the President of the United States, to appease and listen to their complaints and say, we'll do the best we can. He's not going to do that, right? He doesn't. He's not going to sit there and go, oh, we understand here, take more money, even though you discriminate against women and gays and Jews. They demand money and fealty from America, and Trump isn't giving to him. And also, I dispute whether or not he's alienating anybody. Whenever I see him around world leaders, they either want to meet him or they want to be him.
Right.
They line up.
They talk badly behind his back, but they actually are pretty supportive. And actually, on this list of support, Canada, Australia, Great Britain, France. I mean, that sounds
Micronesia.
like our... Well, and also, don't forget the Czech Republic. We love the Czechs.
We love the Czechs.
Yeah, I think that the media and the left, frankly, they make a big deal about the president being at odds with the UN leadership, but the vast majority of the world doesn't see them as this glowing international body. And they're not the physical change maker, frankly, that they were either supposed to be or that they think that they are. The Paris Climate Accord was obviously symbolic, and as most of their actions were. They failed to hold China accountable. We lost out economically, and there was incremental effect on the climate. They refused to condemn Hamas. And to respond to your request for statistics on their anti-Semitism, last year, the UN passed 21 resolutions condemning Israel and only 6 for the rest of the world. They adopted 9 resolutions against Israel and totally ignored Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, China, Turkey, Pakistan, etc., on and on. I think we should emphasize as well the fact that the president this week is meeting bilaterally with so many leaders, Pakistan, India, Egypt, Japan, etc., which to me is so much more effective and efficient on the international diplomacy front.
And he's meeting with South Koreans, and tomorrow his speech, one of the themes is going to be religious tolerance and religious freedom. So we will see you for that.